It's Kirsty from cycles.
Kirsty of bikes.
Kirsty of bikes.
Wonderful, thank you. I did send through that link. Yes, excellent, thank you. So if we haven't met before, my name is Kirsty Styles and I love riding my bicycle. The project that I'm going to talk to you about is a mapping project which is being done, funded by the Heritage Lottery, run by the Charity for the Protection of Rural England, and secretly called by me the Woolly Back Way, which I'll talk to you about in a moment. But some context, you know, I love riding my bike. It is fun, it is freedom, and we need many, many more people doing it. My favourite climate scientist, I'm sure you all have yours, Kevin Anderson, who works over at University of Manchester, said that we need to cut our emissions by 20% every year for the next 5 years in the UK. And the only way that we can do that is if people like us radically change our lifestyles. And one of the ways that we can do that is by ditching our cars and adopting the magic wheel, the freedom machine. It's the one that says Woolly Back Way. I didn't coded it for you. Wicked. It's just a map link. So it should just be a click, yes. So this is the Woolly Back Way. Any Woolly Backs in? What? No wolves in? Really? I believe that a woolly back is actually typically a derogatory term. People think it's maybe a term for people who live on the Wirral, for people who are from St Helens. It's actually, I checked, related to people who came from either Cheshire or Lancashire in the wool trade with typically wool skins on their back and to work in Liverpool. But I think we can reclaim past potentially derogatory terms. So as part of this project, it's actually being called the Liverpool City Region Loop. But I was like, that doesn't sound that fun. Why do we call it the Woolly Back Way? So join my campaign. What this is a pilot project at the moment. It is to map 200 miles of walking and cycling routes. All of them are starting and ending at a train station. In fact, I'll take off a couple of layers here. The orange layer, I'm sure you'll all recognise it, is the Liverpool City Region boundary, everyone's favourite boundary. The yellow route is the original route which we were given, and the blue route here is the route that I've been mapping on my bike over the last little while. So this idea was inspired by the Greater Manchester Ringway, again, another boring name for something that could be quite fun, but the GM Ringway does the same thing, 200 miles, 20 stages, but it's just for walking. What we're trying to do is do walking and cycling, which is actually really difficult because very often you can't cycle everywhere that you can walk, but also some cycling routes are a little bit boring for walkers, so that's one of the challenges that we're sort of dealing with as we do this. So this is 200 miles, and it starts in the city centre of Liverpool. We go up to places that you'll know and love, Crosby, Formby, Southport. I've just cycled this whole section up here. Has anybody ever been to Churchtown? Thatched roofs, the oldest pub in the world, something like that, a medieval church. The idea with the Heritage Lottery funding is that we're not only thinking about sustainability, but we're also thinking about heritage. And so I've been gadding about, paid to go and look at places that people don't necessarily think of to go to around the city region. There's a little bit of controversy, as I'm sure you can imagine, around going in and out of the boundaries. But for me, the Liverpool City region, whilst it has a sort of political edge, there's been a wool trade here, the woolly backs. People come in and out of these places, so I don't think it's necessarily controversial that we might sneak into Lancashire or Cheshire. So up at the top near Southport, there's an amazing marshland, an RSPB site. I'm about to come down here, so I just did Mells Cop. Anyone's favourite train station, Mells Cop? Yes. It's actually it's looked after by Northern and not looked after by Merseyrail. Again, a little controversial. As I'm going along, I'm making sure that I'm mapping, so the stations in between. So if you were coming with children, if you were coming in a wheelchair, you could do a shorter leg. Most of the train stations that I've done so far are accessible. They also have toilets. Some of them don't know, so we're going to make gathering that information part of the idea. So I've just done Melscott to Maghull North. The next one I'm going to be doing is Maghull North to Prescott. That actually means that I'm going to be sneaking through a little bit of the Knowsley estate. But yeah, part of the sort of interesting things are, is this a route? Can you ride it? A bit of the Leeds Liverpool Canal up that I just did has not been surfaced, so part of the pilot project is about going back to them and saying we need to remediate some of this stuff, we need to turn this into proper paths. The ask or the offer is that if anybody likes riding their bicycle, I've got a runs list of rides that I'm going to be doing next. So Sundays and Thursdays mostly, or Sundays, Thursdays and Saturdays in the next couple of months, I'm going to be riding the whole rest of this. So if anybody does want to come, if anybody has any particular heritage sort of knowledge around places like St Helens, Newton Willows, Runcorn. I've got this really exciting bit down here, which I've never cycled before, which takes in a bit of river. It also takes in a road called Oilside Road, which doesn't really sound like a road that everybody wants to cycle on. So for me, this is partly about helping people see that they can get from place to place without having to use their car. The idea with connecting it with train stations is that you can, hop on and off. And Merseyrail and Merseytravel are really into this idea. Obviously, it gets people using the railways. One secret side quest is that I really want them to close one of the tunnels to cars. And so every time I speak to a decision maker, I go, "We could just close one of the tunnels to cars, couldn't we?" And they're like, "That is literally impossible." And you're like, it's actually not though, is it? Somebody could do that. So we do have this sort of wet problem in the middle called the Mersey. Ultimately, if we want more people walking, wheeling, we need to make routes viable. If we want people to reduce their emissions in the way that Kevin Anderson suggests, we need people to think, I'm actually not going to fly, I'm not going to drive, I'm going to explore my region, find out about these places that I didn't know about, take other people there. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to be paid to ride my bicycle. If anybody is up for doing a ride with me, you'd be very, very welcome. I don't know whether there was anything that I wanted to say apart from that. Freedom machine. Thank you. Margaret's got a trike that she's going to donate for me. If you are interested in cycling in general, I'm a ride leader with the Edinburgh Community Cycle Club. I've got a good list of all cycle clubs that exist, as I know, in the Liverpool City Region as well. Women on Bikes helps particularly women who are starting to ride again, ride their bikes. We've also got an event, it's full actually, sorry. Ride the Nights, October the 22nd. You didn't hear it from me, if you just turn up maybe you could come. Women-led, riding at night because that's one of the daunting things when you are sort of getting out on your bike. If you're new or coming back to it. Sorry, Margaret, thank you.
That's okay, and that event is in our newsletter, so we'll probably get people from...
Okay.